These were Lois Griffin's sexiest moments, the scenes that turned Quahog upside down, broke multiple characters' brains, and made the entire internet realize this cartoon mom is way, way more powerful than anyone expected.
Hey, Brian. He's knocking on the back door. He's knocking on the back door!
Lois doesn't need cutaway gags or dramatic lighting to look good. She just shows up, opens her mouth, flips her hair once, and suddenly every male character within a 5-yard radius is going through a full identity crisis. And when you look back at her history, it becomes painfully obvious. Lois Griffin wasn't written to be hot. She just is. Unapologetically, effortlessly, sometimes even accidentally. And that's what makes her dangerous. It all starts with one of her most iconic transformations, Lois the runway model. The moment she walks onto that catwalk in model misbehavior, the entire show shifts. The dress sparkles. The lights hit her just right. The wind machine goes absolutely feral. And Lois? She doesn't just walk. She glides like she's been modeling since she was 4 years old. Peter's eyes glaze over like he's watching the discovery of fire. Brian is panting so hard it might be a health hazard. Quagmire temporarily stops blinking. The crowd in the episode reacts like Lois just descended from heaven. And honestly, who can blame them? Lois wasn't trying to be seductive, she was simply existing at full power for the first time, and it shows. But nothing prepares you for the arc where Lois discovers romance novels. The woman picks up a single spicy book, one, and suddenly Peter Griffin is being pursued through his own house like prey. Lois walks into the room with that slow, predatory smile. Her voice drops to the kind of tone that makes the air temperature rise. She touches Peter's chest, whispers something so intense the FCC probably considered banning the episode, and Peter reacts like a deer being hunted by a very affectionate lion. He tries to escape. He tries to hide. It doesn't matter. Lois appears behind him every time like a horror villain with perfect lipstick. Stewie witnesses this once and immediately knows he should never mention it again. Brian leaves the house entirely because he knows what this kind of Lois does to him emotionally. When Lois gets in that book-induced mood, it's over, for everyone. But Lois isn't just seductive when she's soft. She's seductive when she's strong. Enter Boxer Lois. Baby, you knock me out, is the moment when Lois officially becomes the strongest MILF in Rhode Island. She steps into the boxing ring wearing athletic gear, gloves tightened, hair up, confidence glowing. And then she starts throwing punches like she's been waiting her whole life to unleash this side of herself. She moves fast. She hits hard. She stays perfectly calm while destroying opponents twice her size. Every punch lands with the same energy as a mic drop. Peter doesn't know whether to cheer or fear. Quagmire nearly passes out from sheer attraction. Brian, once again, is losing control of his breathing. Lois isn't just strong. She's strong in a way that makes strength itself look good. The confidence, the power, the way she smirks after landing a hit. It's all just unfair. But possibly the most famous Lois moment, the one that shook viewers everywhere, is her lingerie dance for Peter. Lois has had seductive scenes before, but none hit the same way this one does. The lights are dim, the room is warm, the music starts, and Lois appears wearing pink lingerie that clearly had the animators working overtime. She doesn't joke around. She doesn't break character. She just slowly, confidently, teasingly dances for Peter, who is absolutely not ready. Brian walks in, takes one look, and immediately regrets every decision that led him there. Quagmire hears about it secondhand and probably needed resuscitation. Lois moves with a level of confidence that should come with a caution label. She doesn't just look good. She knows she looks good. And that's what makes the scene lethal. Lois shows the same intensity during her Navy flashbacks. Family Guy reveals multiple times that Lois has a Navy background, and the scenes they show aren't just impressive. They're ridiculous. She trains harder than everyone around her. She does push-ups like she's punishing the floor. She swims across open water like a Bond girl, mid-mission. She marches with perfect posture. The drill sergeant is impressed. The other recruits are intimidated. Lois looks like she could take out an entire ship single-handedly while still remembering to pack Stewie's lunch. Strength is attractive, but Lois has competent military professional who could kill you but would look gorgeous doing it energy. And Lois is a lounge singer. That's a whole different level of seductive power. When she gets on stage in episodes like PTV, wearing that red dress, her voice rich and smooth, the bar lights reflecting off her hair, she's mesmerizing. She sings with that smoky, sultry tone that makes everyone in the room forget what they were doing. Peter goes soft and mushy. Brian sims so hard it's embarrassing. Even the background characters can't stop staring. Lois doesn't need backup dancers or choreography. She just stands at the microphone and suddenly the whole show gets quiet. Her voice isn't just good, It's romantic, warm, addicting. You get the sense that even the piano is blushing. One of Lois's most unintentionally seductive moments happens in Family Gay, when she interacts with the horse breeder. Lois is being polite, helpful, and kind, and the man instantly falls apart. She leans forward slightly, laughs politely, smiles warmly, and the poor guy is speechless. He's sweating, he's nervous, he's completely overwhelmed, and Lois has no idea she's doing this to him. Peter's standing right there, completely oblivious, while this man is falling in love in real time. Lois has that suburban mom who is accidentally irresistible energy that causes chaos without her even noticing. Then we have the moment that explains everything. Young Lois in Meet the Quagmires, the flashback that shattered multiple characters' emotional stability. She walks into that 80s dance wearing a short skirt, perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect posture, and suddenly the audience understands why Peter fought so hard to win her. Lois looks like a teenage movie star. She has that perfect high school heartthrob energy, the girl every guy wants to talk to, but is too intimidated to approach. Quagmire falls in love at first sight. Peter's jaw drops. Even the bullies shut up and stare. Lois has been that girl her entire life. And finally, Lois unleashed her boldest, wildest side in the dominatrix cutaway scenes. The leather outfit, the whip, the boots, the voice, the absolute authority. Peter collapses. Brian loses composure. Quagmire becomes religious. Lois walks around like she owns the room. And she does. This wasn't playful sexy. This was, you are not prepared for this and you never will be, sexy. Even Stewie is horrified. Lois Griffin going full dominatrix mode might be the most shocking moment in the series, not because it's inappropriate, but because she looks too good doing it. Lois Griffin's sexiness doesn't slow down as the series goes on, it actually gets worse. Quahog never stands a chance, because every season Lois finds a new way to casually destroy someone's emotional stability, just by walking into a room. And the funniest part is she never seems aware of how powerful she is. She just lives her life, and everyone else around her melts into chaos. If Part 1 showed how effortlessly seductive Lois already was, Part 2 is where she evolves into every possible version of hotness the show could get away with. It starts with something small but legendary. The bedroom voice. The way Lois walks into the room, leans on the doorframe, and says, "Hi, Peter," like she's narrating a perfume commercial. This moment happens in several episodes, and it never gets less lethal. She's not dancing, she's not posing, she's not trying. She's just speaking in that soft, warm tone that makes time slow down. Peter freezes every time like someone unplugged him. Brian, meanwhile, reacts like a Victorian lady fainting. Even Stewie, who hates everything, gets annoyed because he can feel the tension. Lois Griffin whispering to Peter is one of the most consistently dangerous tropes in the entire show. Then there's Lois waking Peter up in bed. Another tiny moment, but animated specifically to make people weak. In Stewie Loves Lois, she leans over Peter while waking him, hair falling across her face, smile warm and soft. Peter's expression gives away everything. He's helpless, he's mush, he's gone. Lois does nothing outrageous here, she just looks naturally beautiful in soft morning light. These subtle moments are where the show proves Lois doesn't need dramatic outfits or slow-mo edits. She can break the room just by leaning forward slightly. But Lois's Navy flashbacks take this to a whole different level. In Stewie Kills Lois, the show reveals Lois trained in the Navy, and the flashbacks are shockingly hot. The uniform fits her perfectly. Her posture is firm, confident, seductive in that disciplined, military professional way. She handles weapons like she's been training her whole life. She swims with perfect form. She marches like she owns every inch of the base she's standing on. There's something irresistibly attractive about Lois being not just strong, but trained, focused, and fully in control. The way the animators draw her in uniform, they knew exactly what they were doing. Lois Griffin in Navy gear is a top-tier moment of the series. And then the show gives us something completely different. Lois the performer. The lounge singer version of Lois is easily one of her most seductive forms. In PTV, when Lois steps on stage in that red dress and starts singing with that smoky, gentle jazz-infused voice, the whole bar goes silent. She's sensual without trying, confident without being flashy, elegant without needing any help from the lighting crew. She tilts her head slightly, closes her eyes while singing, and it's over. Peter is hypnotized. Brian is spiritually compromised. Even the audience inside the show stops eating and drinking to stare. Lois singing isn't just hot. It's intoxicating. She has that natural lounge singer magnetism and you only see in old Hollywood movies. Then we hit the subtle seduction moments, the ones the show slides into episodes like Easter eggs. In Let's Go to the Hop, Lois wears a red dress at Chris's school dance. She's literally just acting like a responsible mom, but the entire gym stops and stares at her. The teenage boys freeze. The teachers lose composure. Even Peter is like, yeah, that's my wife, with the face of a man who knows he got extremely lucky. Lois doesn't even understand why people are staring. She thinks she looks normal, and that's what makes it even funnier. But canonically, this happens often. Lois Griffin walks into almost any school event and somehow becomes the unexpected center of attention. There's also the famous bending over fridge moment in The Sun Also Draws. Lois leans forward, the camera zooms in just enough to make it obvious what's happening, and Peter practically drools. The show plays it for comedy, but it's undeniably seductive. Even Stewie looks disgusted with how obvious Peter is being. But the point is simple. Lois is drawn with curves, confidence, and presence, and the show leans into it constantly. But when Lois becomes a phone sex worker and call girl, the entire fanbase collectively said, okay, this is getting ridiculous. And yes, everything about this episode is canon. Lois uses her sweet, calming voice on the phone, and men lose their minds over it. She doesn't even realize she's good at it until the customers start requesting her specifically.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I like your voice. It makes me want to hear more of your voice.
Peter eventually talks to her without knowing it's Lois, proving her seductive tone is strong enough to override marriage, logic, and common sense. Lois Griffin becomes the most popular voice on the line, which is exactly what would happen in real life if she had a microphone in a quiet room. But nothing shows Lois's chaotic, seductive power more than Breaking Out Is Hard to Do, the episode where Lois becomes a criminal. She robs a store, adopts sunglasses and a rebellious strut, starts hiding from the police, and somehow gets even hotter in the process. It's the confidence, the danger, the way she moves knowing she's breaking rules and loving it. Peter's weirdly turned on. Even the cop who arrests her compliments her attractiveness. Lois Griffin as a criminal is a whole different flavor of sexy. Bold, reckless, exciting, and charismatic without even trying. Then there's Meet the Quagmires, which might be the most important Lois episode ever. When Peter sees young Lois dancing at the disco, she absolutely owns the room. The hair, the outfit, the lighting, her dance moves. Everything screams superstar. Quagmire falls instantly. Peter forgets he's married. The entire club watches her like she's the headliner of the night, and none of it is exaggerated. This is exactly how the episode frames her. Lois Griffin was hot then, she's hot now, and Family Guy makes sure nobody ever forgets it. But for many fans, the single hottest Lois moment of all time is her Lois Grayson Bond girl transformation in Finders Keepers. The white dress, the dramatic lighting, the slow-motion walk, the hair blowing like she's in a perfume commercial. Lois doesn't just look good, she looks legendary. She fits the Bond girl archetype so perfectly that you almost forget she's Peter Griffin's wife. It's elegant, it's stylish, it's seductive, and it's completely real. And then the action movie Lois scenes from Stewie Kills Lois and Lois Kills Stewie. Lois goes full action heroine, flipping, shooting, rolling, diving, fighting Stewie with athletic skill and perfect poise. She's dynamic. She's intense. She's incredibly competent. And yes, she looks amazing doing it. These aren't jokes. They're some of the best animated Lois scenes in the show, and they're all canon. By the end of all this, it becomes obvious. Lois Griffin isn't one type of sexy. She's all of them. Strong sexy, soft sexy, elegant sexy, rebellious sexy, accidental sexy, professional sexy, Bond girl sexy, boxer sexy, Navy sexy, lounge singer sexy, hi Peter sexy. Lois Griffin is a shape-shifting force of attraction, confidence, charisma, and pure animated beauty. Every version of her hits. Every phase works. She is, without question, one of the most iconic animated women ever created.